Looks like Bittorrent is on the move, up almost 50% over the past 2 days. Back around October the 29th, when we last looked at Bittorrent, I spotted this unusual accumulation in volume and expected that after the whales finished accumulation, they would likely pump up the price. We waited a month, but I believe it is happening now. Here is a recap of that video. Let's take a look at Bittorrent on this 1-hour chart. Starting around the 22nd, all of a sudden we saw this major spike up in volume. This definitely what I call is the accumulation phase. Big money is accumulating and they were holding the price very much steady. And now the accumulation phase is pretty much ended, as we see volume go back to normal, which is very low volume. But the key thing is they are no longer holding the price down like they were during this accumulation phase. Fast forward, it's about 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on December the 7th, and we are looking at this 4-hour chart for Bittorrent. Last time when we looked at Bittorrent was on October the 29th. We saw this massive accumulations. At that time, we knew that smart money were accumulating because looking at the volume chart, there was practically no volume. All of a sudden, we see this massive increase in buying volume. So I kind of anticipated that a major event which could impact the price would likely happen in the near future. Now we know all of these accumulations is in anticipations of this event, which is the Bittorrent mainnet launch and redenomination, which will happen on December the 12th. Now, according to Bittorrent, what is BTT redenomination? There will be 2 tokens, BTTO and BTT. The total supply will be increased from 990 billion BTTO to 990 trillion BTT. The market cap unchanged. New token will be issued as TRC20 tokens on the Tron mainnet and mapped to the BTTC mainnet. Why do we redenominate BTT? Founded in 2004, the Bittorrent project is currently the world's largest decentralized peer-to-peer network with over 90 million active users and a total installed base of over 2 billion torrent clients. However, as an integral part of the Bittorrent ecosystem, BTTO has a total supply of only 990 billion tokens, with an average of 11,000 tokens per active users and an average of less than 500 tokens per client. In actual use cases, the low total supply comes with certain limitations. Bittorrent's customer service team receives daily feedback from users on relevant problems. The BTTO tokens obtained by users in various use cases adopting BTTO are shown as numbers with a lot of decimal places. The number of a user's mining reward is 0.00231 BTT, which will bring inconveniences to the subsequent collections of assets and the exchange of tokens. As BTTC mainnet arrives, the BTT ecosystem will be more diversified with expanded use cases. It is, therefore, necessary to redenominate BTTO. On BTT redenominations, to redenominate BTTO, the total supply of the tokens will be increased from 990 billion to 990 trillion at a ratio of 1 to 1,000, with the market cap unchanged. BTT tokens will be upgraded from the TRC10 to TRC20, and the new BTT will be issued as TRC20 tokens on the Tron mainnet and mapped to the BTTC mainnet. So that is the big news, and it will happen on December the 12th. So all this accumulation is in anticipation of this big news. So 2 things that we learned from this whole thing is, number 1, we are, as retail investors, we are always in the disadvantage because smart money, they know exactly what's going on. They accumulate in anticipations of this. The second thing is, for those who are doing technical analysis or charting, you have to look at the volume. Looking at how the candlestick behave, identify all this resistance and support is only 50% of the whole story. Indicators definitely is the other 50% because If you ignore the volume, then you tend to run into a risk that when you see the chart set up for this nice run up in price, but then without volume, you tend to have the problem with what we call as a bull trap, where professional traders artificially run up the price, but on low volume. And retail investor, when we see the price run up, we anticipate a breakout. The minute we take positions, that's when professional trader, they take profit and they dump, cause the price to drop. And the reason that can happen because without volume, there's no buying support. So it's easy for this guy to manipulate the price. All right, too much for that stuff. Let's go back to Bittorrent again. After this accumulations, we saw that they started to run up the price. But unfortunately, after Bittorrent get to about, let's just call this like 0.45, Bitcoin began this declining. Now take a quick look at this chart. As you can see, they started running the price up. And at this point, Bitcoin started to retrace. That caused the price of Bitcoin to retrace as well. And then we had this big flash crash. Bitcoin dropped, but immediately buyers step in, and now they are in the process of pushing the price up. Go back to the 4-hour chart. After this major drop down to about 0.21, and then we saw this reversal in price, volume definitely picking up. If we look at Bittorrent after it ran to 0.45, it was trending down following the downward channel. Today we saw the price broke out and Bittorrent crossed over the resistance of this downward channel on strong volume. This definitely indicates that the price is breaking out and it is in the process of running up. And that only makes sense because now it's December the 7th and there's only 5 days left before this major event. So there is a very high probability that Bittorrent would continue to run up. Right now it is trading at around 0.4 or up almost 19%. It seems like right now, right at this point, which is around 0.4, it is facing major resistance. And let's see what caused this resistance here. We could say that because there is some resistance at this level, but very likely because when BTT ran up to this point, Trace ran up again to a higher 0.45. Now we have this higher low. Connect the higher high with the higher low and just extend that. That's exactly what happened. So what happening here is buy get rejected at 0.45. Bittorrent was forming this downward trend line. And right now, after this spike up, Bittorrent is retesting the resistance of this downward trend line at around 0.4. So it's very likely that we would see some sort of pushback and consolidations before Bittorrent would likely break out and cross over. Let's take a look at Bittorrent on this daily chart. After this major price reversal, right now Bittorrent is testing the resistance of this downward channel. And definitely it is facing pushback. So it is very likely that Bittorrent would retrace, consolidate, then we'll attempt to retest this again. There is a very high probability that Bittorrent should be able to cross over the next time it retests that. Let's quickly go through some of these indicators. The Bollinger Band formed out very nicely. Now the band expanded and Bittorrent is riding the upper band. That is the signal that the price is on its way up. The moving averages right at around the third week in November, the 50 days cross over and lead the 200 days. So we have this golden cross, and now the 50 days continue to lead the 200 days. Also right at around the middle of November, the 10-day dropped below the 50-day. That was the first bearish sign, and then after that we see the price continue to retrace. But now the 10 days reverse direction and it is starting to trend up. So this is a very bullish indication. Volume pickup, another good sign. So all of these indicators are pointing to a very high probability that Bittorrent would continue this uptrend. I do expect the price to cross over this major resistance soon, and then the next level would be at 0.45. Cross over 0.45. We're looking at Bittorrent testing 0.53. So Bittorrent is definitely on the move. We'll revisit Bittorrent again tomorrow. That's it for this video. And don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim, because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.